everybody, welcome to another Tuesday night shiur. I'm going to give you guys an option. What's the option? Either we're going to talk about two different subjects. Number one, either SHOVAVIM, I'm going to explain to you what that is right now, or Parashat Shemot. Now, SHOVAVIM is more of a man's topic, but it also has a lot to do with the woman. And now it's also a very sensitive topic to the times right now because we just started Sefer Shemot, and in Sefer Shemot is the topic of SHOVAVIM. What is SHOVAVIM? It talks about more of the averot, the sins of doing tshuva between a man and a woman, or a man and himself. Or even, you'll be surprised, the Ben Ish Chai brings down sins to do between a woman and a woman. That's one topic, which is a very crucial and in-depth and honestly a very mature topic, which I hardly doubt anyone here is. Or there's Sefer Shemot, which is very, very beautiful, the life of Moshe Rabbeinu. It's basically twinkle, twinkle, little star kind of subjects. Or you want hardcore subjects. Now, by the raise of hands only, I don't need a zoo over here right now. We're going to make a vote. Whoever wants Shemot, raise their hand. Shemot. Learn about the parsha. You can also say what you guys want. Or you want SHOVAVIM. Okay, majority want SHOVAVIM. Okay, we're going to talk about SHOVAVIM. In the beginning, it's going to be a little bit boring, but it's going to get into very deep concepts. Now, you can ask your questions at the end. If you need a pen, I have a pen for whoever wants to write the questions, and I have a paper, because I know it's going to get a little bloody over here tonight. Because it's how whoever knows me knows that I don't hold back. Mr. Gurgov figured that out last Shabbat, when he was in the Shabbaton. He realized one thing: I don't hold back. Whatever's the truth got to come out, and it's going to come out. Now, these weeks, we have 6 weeks in Sefer Shemot. Shemot, Ve'era, Bo, B'Shalach, Yitro, Mishpatim. This year, since we have a leap year, an extra month of Adar, also Terumah and Tetzaveh. It's called SHOVAVIM Tat. We're going to get into the details. The Maran Beit Yosef in the Shulchan Aruch, in his book of Magid Yesharim, everyone knows this rabbi as to be someone that's called a Pashtan, a simple man. You know that he used to learn B'charut, he used to learn one-on-one with an angel? He used to learn one-on-one with an angel. In his book Magid Yesharim, the Ramak HaKadosh, which is really the grandfather, not the grandfather, but the rabbi before the Ari, and the Ari HaKadosh, they both wrote about this subject. These three rabbis wrote about in this subject very, very much in depth. Now, everyone knows Yemei SHOVAVIM is a time of fasting, is a time of crying. But today we're going to learn otherwise. You know, Hashem created the world in a certain cycle of life that is very, very, very unique. When you're 8 years old, at least most normal people, we can't say we, but most normal people, when they're 8 years old, 9 years old even, who do they want to play with? Their same gender. For you, a girl is cooties, and for girls, guys are smelly. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a nature. That's the way we are. So when we reach the age, in this generation, unfortunately, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and beyond, suddenly, we don't want to play anymore with our own gender because we realize that they smell, and we want to go to the opposite gender. Why? Why did God do this? It's a nature of life that He put. It's called Teva. Hashem created the world in the name of Elokim. Elokim is the same numerical value of Teva, nature. Whatever looks like normality is not really normality. It's just that's the way God revealed Himself in this world. Now, when someone goes, for example, a man, and he does the sin of Zar Lavatala, which is, whoever doesn't understand, I'm going to explain to you very fast, which is wasting his own seed. The Ari says, yes, to fast, Peidalet Taniyot.
Which is?
64 fasts.
For every time?
For every time. Yeah. I'm sorry, 84 fasts. Now, me and you know, we can barely fast for 2 hours. Let alone 84 fasts. Now, woman, don't think you're off the hook. Oh, wait and hear what I'm going to tell you right now. Well, we're going to get there. But if a man does a sin with a eshet ish, let's say, or a nida, if he sleeps with a woman that is married, Rahman al-Itzlan, or he sleeps with a woman which is a nida, which means single woman. Any woman that's not married, she's considered a nida. Why? Because she never went to the mikveh in her life. That means she's not allowed to. You have to fast, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 52 times. If I'm not mistaken. Now here's the main question. Why? Why when someone does a sin with a married woman, it's less of a fasting, of a destruction than when you're doing it yourself?
Because she's already married. Because the person is right.
No, not necessarily married. With a woman. Why when I do a sin with a woman, not with a man? With a man is 200 something else fast.
It's not going to waste.
You hear what he just said? You see, a man, Hashem created the world for all those people that think of same-sex gender. Imagine the bee one day wouldn't pollinate. He wouldn't pollinate the flowers. What would happen? We would have no flowers, we would have no fruits, we would have no vegetables. God did it specific that when a man is with his woman, that time it's going to the rightful place. There was a story with Rav Yehuda Pataya. Listen to this story. Someone that makes fun of people that fast on these days or does tshuva. A man came to Rav Yehuda Pataya. He lived like 100 years ago. Not even, less than 100 years ago. And this is written in his book. Imagine, these are the stories that I grew up. This was my bedtime stories my father used to tell me. In his book, Ruchot Misaprot, he used to talk to souls that used to go into people's bodies, or schizophrenic patients. If people would know what's a really schizophrenic, there's nothing wrong with them. They just have another soul that was mi'ubar inside of them. They have two souls right now. Just the other soul is taking over his body right now. That's really a schizophrenic person. We're not going to talk about that right now. It's not our topic. But back over here. There was a man that came to Rav Yehuda Pataya and said, listen, unfortunately, when I was younger, I did a sin of eshet ish. I slept with a married woman. So Rav Yehuda Pataya in his book writes down a whole tikkun when he gave him. He told him to dip in the mikvah 7 times, to fast 24 hours, and to give a certain amount of tzedakot. 2 days later, this man, he passed away. Imagine what kind of zchut he had, what kind of merit he had, this person. When he passed away, Rav Yehuda Pataya was invited to go see the deen that was going to happen to him in Shamayim. To this man, this judgment that he was going to have, Rav Yehuda Pataya was invited to see it. As an audience member, not as a judge even. And he see that they're judging him, and suddenly, they never mentioned anything about that specific sin that he did. They didn't even mention it. Rav Yehuda Pataya says that they told him to go to a certain room. He was going to get a spiritual surgery to take off that tumah because he did a tshuva. Imagine what one tshuva can do for you in this world. You doing a repent, how much can it do? And a person that's choteo machtei tarabim, which is the worst thing. What does it mean choteo machtei tarabim? Someone that makes someone do sin. Who is that? The woman. A man, no, this is not funny. This is very, very, very important. A man, in their nature, we're like, I always say this, everyone upset that I say this, but we're like dogs. In our nature, we go after the tail. Again, I'm not saying women are tails, relax everyone, I never said that. I'm just saying how we think. how men think. They see someone beautiful, automatically their tongue comes out. They start whistling. They start, look at that. Him and his friend, they're talking what they would do with that person. So disgusting. It's just, if you look at it, it's the most, how can you and your friend talk about one female right now at the same time? It's disgusting. It's mind-blowing. That's the way men think. And whose fault is it? It's the woman's fault. They dress immodest. They purposely hang around with a whole bunch of men. You know, a woman's in the Torah has such a value. They're so holy. They're so kadosh. They're so... In this week's parasha, the savior of the Jewish people was who? Miriam. Miriam looked over her brother, Moshe, which we'll get into a little bit about. How is it important? People ask, oh, why do I have this kind... Why am I, when I go out with girls, I always attract the balnayas that come to me. All the time. Either the uglies, the balnayas, the ninarmalnis. And the girls, the same thing. Wow, you'd be surprised. All the kashoks, the cheap people, the people that are smelly, the ones that are mental, the guys that can't get anything in their life. Why do the nails, okay, we're not going to get into that. Why do I have that kind of attraction? What's the issue here? And the answer is very simple. You know, your future spouse is your mirror. That's what it is. If you attract that means that's who really you are. You are really like that, and you're attracting that because deep down, that's who you really are. You're that disgusting. Don't tell me when you walk down the street, you don't think about that every single girl that you see how you want to do whatever you want to do with her. Don't give me no BS. Especially if you work in the catering hall. When you see those women dancing and get all there, wow, yo, be happy that you're not a waiter. You just control the catering hall. How much sin goes through your brain? And that's why Hashem blessed us with the days of Shovavim. Why is it specifically in these weeks? Now I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give to you a secret that most people don't know. And it's a good question. When should Shovavim be? When should we really do the repenting of this sin, both for men and women? In Bereshit, no? New beginning, a new year, you know? Let's go with a strong heart. Why it specifically happened? In Shemot. It's a good question. I had this question as a kid. And I found the answer out today. You know, Adam Rishon, when he ate the Etz Hadat, whatever it was, if it was a grape, if it was a fig, if it was a etrog, if it was wheat, whatever, not weed, but wheat, whatever the subject is, after he ate it, he separated from his wife for 130 days. 130 years. Sorry. He separated from his wife from 130 years. Why? He wanted to do teshuvah. Honest guy, no? Adam Rishon. What he got, some say he was tricked into eating it. They say that Chava grinded the food in a certain way that he didn't know what it was. No, not that kind of grinding. We're talking about food. Well, guys, get focus. He ate. Some say he ate the food by mistake. It's irrelevant. He ate the food. We're here today. Boom. You can't run away from your destiny. That's for a different topic. What happened? He went to the water. There are 4 kinds of waters. There's Gihon. Gishon, Kedeket, Prat. These are 4 waters. If you one time come to not my house, but my father's house for Shabbat, you'll see in his Kiddush cup, he has those 4 waters engraved. Not how they do in 47th Street, the cheap way. Not, what's it called, lasered. Engraved. He got it engraved in his cup. I don't know how he did it. He got it as a gift, really. And there's a big skula to drink from this kind of cup. We're not going to get into it right now. But he went inside this body of water, and he went, why? Because he wanted to do teshuvah for eating from the Etz Hadat. He went in, the Midrash says that the water was very, very, very cold. He went until his neck, and he was learning Torah. Now what happens? When you do perishut, when you separate, But you have to understand. Separating to do a mitzvah or to doing teshuvah has to be with moach, with sechel. A man cannot live without a woman. Don't live in a skaska land. We need them more than they need us. This is a fact. Physically. Mentally, they need us more than we need them. And that's why Hashem combined it, that a woman should need more of an emotion, heat, and a man should need more of a physical heat. So when a man says, I'm trying to get this, many times I have these students, I want to do the avara with the girl. So I say, you're such a fool. Why? Because if you knew what's the source of a woman which was full of emotion, and you just get her emotion, you'll get whatever you want from her. The people don't understand. Women and men don't understand one thing. My wife, when we had the shiur, the other day, my wife said, she was at the lecture. My wife is my biggest fan. She said, I wanna give you some highlights. What's one of the highlights she told me? One of the main reasons why youngsters, they can't find the right one, or they tend to find the wrong one, is because they don't seek advice. Now, we all know you're not going to ask your parents for advice. That's like the red line, you know what I mean? Your shapka is red? That's the red line. You will never ask your parents for advice. We all can admit to that. But who will you maybe ask advice to? Which is the biggest mistake in the world? Your rabbi. Or your teacher. Why? Asking your friend is the biggest mistake you can do. Why? 2 reasons. Self-interest. Big self-interest. Or major jealousy. You never ask your friends. And how do we know this? Because once you get married, automatically that friend is not your friend anymore. It's just the reality of life. You can't say, Shkoyach, thank you so much. Baruch, ata Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, she'akol nihiya b'dvaro. In nature, the person next to you is usually jealous from you. It's very sad. That's why you have to choose your friends very wisely. Ein chaverim be'olam. My father always told me there's no friends in the world. It doesn't exist. There's only a couple people that can be your friends. Your father, your mother, maybe your brothers and your sisters, and your wife if you pick a nice one. It's not funny? Yes.
So the Torah doesn't the Torah say you should acquire yourself a friend?
Yes, you should. 100% right.
He just said your father, your mother. Friend?
Now, you asked a good question. I'm going to answer you. If you can find a friend to what the Torah was meaning that has no self-interest in himself, then yeah, you have to find one of those. But if you have all of your friends, which you have most probably 99.9, maybe one that's not, those people you have to run away from. Those are the cause of your destruction of your life. It's not a joke. If you look at your life, if you go through the history of your life, just for a second, you think about why you're not the best as you can be, is because you had a friend that always put you down or something. It's so sad. The people around you putting you down the most. That's what it's coming to be. And that's it when they say you have to your future spouse. Again, I don't want to talk about this subject because this is not what I was intending to talk about. Instead, I'm going to get back to Shovavim. Now, there are a lot of rabbis, the Ari says, the Marchu actually says, that says you should fast. Stop. Today, for the first time in my life, I heard a very big Talmid Chacham. His name is Rav Ben Zion Mutzafi. How are you, Tzaddik? Take some food, don't be shy. He specified, and he said, you should not fast. Do not fast if you want to do the Tikkun for Pegam Habrit. Both men and women. Again, we just learned that the women are not off the hook in this. Women, if not, are more in danger than men. Now, before I'm going to tell you what he said, don't feel bad if you fell into sin. I'm going to explain to you why. The Gemara brings down in the story Masechet Chagiga, Masechet Sanhedrin, and in Masechet Avodah Zarah of different Tanaim that almost fell into sin. Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Akiva. You know, all the Torah we have now is because of Rabbi Akiva. He almost fell into sin. Rabbi Chia in the Gemara, he was about to do the Maaseh with the woman, and the woman was really the Satan, and the Satan revealed himself, and he said, if it wasn't from Shamayim that told me not to be with you now, I would have made sure I would have been with you.
Who was the one that climbed the tree?
Oh, that was Rabbi Yehuda, if I'm not mistaken. There was a rabbi, from such a temptation to do a sin, he climbed the fence and took a ladder. He was an old man. He took a ladder and he was climbing up the window to do the Maaseh Znut. So again, you shouldn't fall into it. But if you did, that doesn't mean your life is ended. There an end. There is always hope. That's why we are Yehudim. We're Jewish people for a reason. Why? Because we came to this world to rebuild. We're construction workers. You understand? We're here to build. If we fall, we have to go weiter in life. Now, what does Rav Mutafi say? Rav Bentio Mutafi say to do? A person every day for these days should try to learn bikfiut. What's bikfiut? Every day for 5 minutes, exactly from 1 o'clock to 1:05, I'm learning something specific. He shouldn't be like shalabala, you know what I mean? One day yes, one day no, even 1 minute. For 1 minute, you take the book and you learn. You know what you just did? You're kovea itim. You just said this time is specifically for Siyat Shmai from learning Torah. Even if you're working, you're on the block, you're on the this, you're on the that, whatever it is, 2 minutes, you stop your work, you stop doing setting. I know setting. My father made me start setting when I was before bar mitzvah. And he comes and he said, you have to stop, you have to say, stop, I'm learning two halachot of, I don't know, Lashon Hara. You say it, you go back, you put back your music, whatever you like to listen, and you continue working. You just did, whatever you just did that second, that moment, made your whole work have hatzlacha. The only way you'll ever have hatzlacha in your life, both men and women, is if you integrate God in your life. You can't have success without Him. Because He is everything. And once we're going to acknowledge that He's everything, then we're going to understand where our success starts. And this we learn from this week's parasha. We're going to get there. I want to really get into this week's parasha. Shovavim is again, it's a very dangerous topic to talk online. Very dangerous because automatically fire, flame, this, that. No problem. I have Google next to me. I feel good. Automatically, I can go weiter in life. Now, don't worry, I didn't forget about you, Jonathan. Now, he says to do the first thing is to be kovea itim la Torah. Okay, learn every day for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, every day. Shmirat enayim, shovavim. Abotai, you don't have to say everyone on that block hi. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't got to be in the catering hall and say hi to every single guest there. You don't have to. You're not cutting hair at that moment. Sit your butt down on the chair. You don't got to look out that window, especially if you work in Soho. You don't need to. It doesn't go this way. That doesn't go this way. We're not in front. You're going to college. You don't need, the less you say hi to people, the more the people will want to come to see you. Don't ever forget that. You want your opposite gender to run after you. You start to not acknowledge them. And I promise you, they'll run to you like you won't even know. That's a psychology, Rabbi Sai. It's psychology 101. Don't acknowledge the obvious will start to acknowledge you. You become the new obvious in the middle of the center of the field. That's just what happens. You don't need to say hi to everyone. You do your job and you leave. Plus you're doing Tikkun Einayim. In Shema Yisrael, what do we say in Shema Yisrael? Lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem. Obvious question. This is a question of ABC. Why does the Torah first say your heart and then your eyes? The Torah should have first said your eyes and then your heart. No, it makes more sense. The Orach Chaim HaKadosh comes with a beautiful Kiddush. Beautiful. if a person doesn't want to do sin, nothing in the world will ever make him fall. Right now, someone falls in sin. You want to know why? Because deep down in his heart, he has that tava. I want to do it. I want to fall into sin right now. Yeah, 5 seconds of pleasure, 12 months of Gehenna, no problem. Be my guest. Be my guest. Suffer all you want. But yes, there is a hell. It exists. It happens. It's hot or it's cold. It depends what you like. And that's what's going to happen. But you can do tshuva. Teshuvah. There's another big thing that also is very important. After I finish with this, we're going to get into the parasha. Yes, what's your question? Ah, beautiful. Ishmak. Someone that's using his cup. You know, when I was in ninth grade, when I was in 7th grade, I had a math teacher. I think he died. Whatever. His name was Mr. Vogel. He used to talk like this. We used to always make fun of him. He reeked like cigarettes. He used to talk about the train all the time. He was a math teacher. And the one time he said, can you use your marbles? Now, every boy in the world thinks marbles is the beitzim. So, automatically, whoever knows me, I said, Mr. Vogel, how do we use that in the middle of class? And he, Karochi, gave me the biggest F of my life, which didn't make a difference to me in any way. He really meant how to use this. So I see only one boy here that's using his brain. And what did he say? Simple. I did the tshuva. I did repent. But the next day, I fell again. Ma mo'ila tshuva. What's the point of doing this tshuva if you know you're going to fail? I'm going to ask you a question.
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally. You want to start to go out with a certain girl. But you know for a fact she's out of your league. You can go for maybe number 7, number 8. She's number 12. She's not even in the scale. The scale doesn't even accept her. On your mind, let's say. Everyone again has a different... Would you try?
Yeah.
Why? You're down to fail. All statistically you're gonna fail, Habibi, you're done. Would you still try?
It doesn't hurt to try.
The same thing with this.
No.
And I'll tell you why. Because whenever you do the tshuva, the next time you want to do the sin, you think twice.
It depends on the sin.
And we're talking about right now the sin between a man and a woman, or a man and a man. Or a man and himself, not a man and a man. Hopefully no one over here has that problem, because if we do, we gotta get into different topic over here. Rabotai, you're not allowed to hate gay people. You're going over Isur Torah of V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. You have to hate their action. You have to hate what they do, but you can't hate them. People don't know this. People are born with this sickness. Men only, not women. Men. They're born with a sickness to like guys. And why is that? I heard from a very mystical person that the reason why he has this tava, because last Gilgul he did a sin. If it was by force, or if it was by will, or if it was just to try. There's a lot of people that like to try new stuff. And he came back in this Gilgul just to fight that tava. So don't always judge people around you. He's in this world to fight that desire. I know many people that like their same gender and they're married with families. And their wife knows. And they say, I'm fighting with myself every day of my life. You know what kind of schar he has in Olam Haba? To fight that desire? It's an unbelievable thing. But if someone that's going to embrace it, time out. That's already Sdom V'Amorah. We're not going to get there. But if someone has a tava, it's because he was born with it. He has to work on himself. The same way how you have to work on not cheating people. I'm not saying specifically someone here. I'm just talking b'klaliyut. Or you have to work on yourself to not get angry or not do stupidity. He has that same tava. So you said, it depends on the sin. Now, let's say you fasted for 12 hours. Right? Now you did tshuva, you feel a little bit uplifted. Suddenly you have the opportunity to do the sin again. You telling me you're going to do it without a doubt?
But tshuva, we don't really go in fast for 12 hours.
It's the same thing
Like
like
we
Yom
try-
Kippur though. You don't let you tomorrow do the next.
Not tomorrow. You see, like after Yom Kippur, I'll be honest. Like I felt,
Every 3 days.
but it happened again or whatever it is. Like you have Yetzer Hara, you can say. Like,
100%. But that whatever you're saying now is very healthy. Why? Because if you wouldn't have that, if someone fasts on Yom Kippur, shetida lecha, and in his mind he knows he's going to do sin tomorrow,
Doesn't count.
not that it doesn't count.
no one.
Don't say no one. Look, focus, Tzaddik. Don't say no one. We're in this world to get to that level. You're saying that now because you're not, maybe you're not a teenager, but let's say you're in your early 20s and you're hot. You're like lava. Lava, you know what means lava? That's what you are. You're the hottest thing, not physically, but emotionally, so people don't think right now I became from the opposite gender. No. You're sure, you're too quiet. You understand? You understand? You right now, every tava, I had a friend one time, even though this is not such a kosher joke, but I'm going to say it anyways. He knows this joke. He said the first year of marriage, take a Poland Spring, those 5-gallon Poland Springs, put it in your bathroom. Every time you have relations with your wife for the first year, you put 2 pennies. After the first year until the day you die, take out 3 pennies. By the end of your lifetime, you'll still have pennies inside that jar.
Dang.
Why? Does anyone want to know why? No. You'll hear the lecture, you'll hear it. It's because this act is an illusion Hashem created just for you to get married. A point of a marriage is to work on yourself with your spouse. It's not to have this act. This act was only, you're saying no because you're not married. This act was only meant for you to have kids, Habibi. But not, the purpose of marriage is not only to have kids, it's to work on your midot. You are a pure image of your wife and your wife is a pure image of yourself. Unless she's really banana, then you have to, same thing likewise. Then you have to go to counseling, or you go to a rabbi, or you go to a psychologist, which is very healthy. But that's the same thing with tshuva. You can't say it doesn't help, because I know no one ever in the middle of SHOVAVIM would fast, or do tzedakot, or read Tehillim, or do the stuff, and doesn't really want to change. He does it out of his own will.
I get what you're saying.
No.
Like, I don't think you're getting me. I'm saying like you do it again, not because you say, who cares? It happens again, or whatever happens. It happens.
That's exactly.
Then you do teshuva. It's like a whole cycle.
I'm telling you, that's healthy. And I'll tell you why that's healthy. Because you're not doing tshuva, and the next second you want to do it. It's happened. How you said, this is your word. It happened, I wasn't planning, and it happened to be that this girl hit me up, and before you knew it, she wanted this, I wanted that, and I said no, I said yeah, I said no in my brain, and suddenly I fell.
Exactly. How do you stop that?
Now that is called Tikkun Hamidot. Everyone knows privately, personally, if you want, we can sit after the shiur, how to work on himself in his own way. I was once a teenager too. I'm not too far from that age. Those desires were there. But if I don't have someone that I could talk to, I'm not talking about a friend again. I'm talking about someone that went through it himself. I had a teacher that guided me through this. If it was my father, if it was my Rebbe, these people guide me through this problem. I remember when I was in 9th grade, this is a very personal story. I went to my father and I said, I want to get married right now. He said, very good. Your genes are working very well. You're just like your father. And why is that? He said. I said, because I can't control myself anymore. I'm a teenager. I can't. Now, not everyone would be able to tell this to their father. And not every father would react the same way my father reacted. My father didn't take a remain or something, I'm going to beat you up. He sat me down and he spoke to me for a good couple hours. He said like this, whatever you're going through is healthy. You are a normal person. This makes you normal. My Rebbe used to say, if you don't think about a woman during your day, that means you're not normal. You have something wrong in your brain. The Gemara says it. Every day in a person's life, he has a hirhura. He has a bad thought. At least one bad thought. But it's your job, everyone, including myself, to push that bad thought away. It's our job in our life. You also work on the block? Baruch Hashem. Not Baruch Hashem that, oh, you got rid of it. Baruch Hashem that I would assume that your test in this aspect became a little less. Because over there, that's the block of manipulation. They purposely put beautiful women on the street. They purposely put beautiful women to work on the storefront. It's a way of manipulation, and women don't understand this. They're so stupid. They think they're on top of the rock. Why? Because I'm the best. I'm working in the first floor. No, they're just using you as a piece of meat. And people don't know. And when you say this to a woman, they think that I'm mental. Why? Because they don't know what's really in a man's mind. Tell the woman one day, you my boss, you man, you work on the street and let me be in the office. 47 will close down that day. No business, nothing. Empty. Why? Because besides the bling bling the guy goes to, he also wants bling bling. And that's a reality. And I have students calling me every day, Rabbi, get me off this block. I'll be a clean bathrooms. I want off the block. Why? Because everyone deep down wants what's good for them. And I'm going to explain to you why. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. You just want to be happy. I'm going to ask you a question. First of all, we don't know what happiness is. We don't know what happiness is. If you think a triangle is happiness, my friend, that's not happiness. How someone said it's a hellhole. It's not happiness. That doesn't make happiness. And how do we know this? We see many people that are married, or many people that live the life that we think they live the life, and they hate their life. They hate it. Why? Because there is no point of their living of their life. What are they gaining? A person that doesn't gain, he doesn't add to his life, he doesn't make a difference, he feels dead. He emotionally wants to kill himself. The number one job in the world that kill themselves are who? Are toll takers. You know what a toll? You know when you go upstate or from a different state? You know those guys that take the money from you? They kill themselves all the time. Why? Their job is there's no benefit out of their job. There's no use out of it. What are they doing? They're donkeys. They're literally like chamorim. They take thank you. They don't even say thank you anymore. And that's why you don't know why the government slowly is doing what? They're putting the cameras to take bling bling right away. Why are they doing that? Did you ever think for a second?
Save money. Save money.
No, they don't want to save money. They need to pay these people minimum wage to make money. Why are they doing it? Because people are killing themselves all the time. People are just dying. And that's bad on the country. Another tikkun. I'm going to say, and we're going to finish with this. A person that talks in the Beit Knesset, talks in shul, he's doing a big mistake. There was a man one time, he came to the Baba Sal and he said, listen, we just opened a new shul. You know, Bukharians also have this custom. They cut a sheep, or they cut especially by the Nisano family, they're still in the old-fashioned world. It's okay, nothing wrong with that. I can tell you, the Chaimo family is the same thing. The Yagodayers are the same thing. There are some that... No. The Navais have it worse. Navais have it worse. Okay, shh. Now what happens? Listen. They come to the Baba Sai and said, listen, we want to shech the animal, we want to put the blood all over. You know what the Baba Sali said? He laughed. He said, instead of shechting the animal that didn't do anything wrong, cut your tongue. Take your tongue, cut it off, and hang it on the doorpost of the shul. And before you leave, you take it out and you put it back in your mouth. Why? Why did he say that? Because a person that talks during shul, especially during tefillah, his answers don't get prayed. his prayers don't get answered. Rabbi, I pray for 10 years I should be a millionaire. Why am I become a millionaire? How many times do you talk in shul? Every single second. Even when you pray Amidah. Shut the hell up. Yo, what are you doing? You're praying to God right now. Whoa, what are you doing? I see these people, they're so dumb. What are you doing? You're in the middle of praying and you stop praying and you say, yo, what's up? Okay, and you continue praying. What are you doing? That's the cause of your tefillot not to get answered. Shovavim, I would advise you for these next 8 weeks. It started on Sunday. Shemot, Sefer Shemot. I advise you to do 2 things. Not to fast, not to kill yourself, none of that. It's not for us, including me. We don't do stuff like that. I'm not allowed to fast. I'm a teacher. If I fast, my students don't learn properly. Every day, start with 5 minutes. Boys and girls. This way. Girls and boys. 5 minutes a day. Take any book, English, Hebrew, Russian, Chinese, whatever language you understand, and learn for 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes, you should know, are forever for these next 8 weeks. Every single day. Shabbat, Yom Kippur, wedding, Yushvo, I don't know, the guy when you're catering, he spilled all the soup. You need to call an ambulance. Someone's dying, heart attack. I don't know anyone right now. I'm doing my 5 minutes. 5 minutes is too long for you. 2 minutes. You read 2 halachot, you do 2 lashon hara, that's it. This is one of the biggest tikkunim you can do for your yirsod. The second thing I'm going to tell you to do, which I didn't mention yet, is Kriyat Shema al Hamita. Before you go to sleep, besides praying Arvit to say Shema, you have to say Shema before you go to sleep, right? I hope everyone does it. There's nothing to do. You go lie down on your bed, say Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. If you want, say it after. I think it's good. You guys should all know it by heart. Don't be scared to sing it. No one's gonna say wake up. Your parents can hear you sing reggae and all this kind of stupid music. You can say V'afta et Hashem. Okay, nothing's gonna happen to you. You'll survive. I promise you. Whenever you say Echad, you have to imagine. If you want to know the exact kavanah, you go to the Ben Ish Chai, Parashat Pikudei, the first Shana. He has two Shanot. You go on that, and what do? You imagine yourself at that moment taking a sword, which we read every day in Halalukas, Cherev b'pifiyot be'adam, a double-edged sword. That means the sword is double-edged, bladed, and you're right now shechting, you're slaughtering those bad spiritual angels that you created, which look like demons. That's what you have to imagine at that moment when you're saying Kriyat Shema Al-Mitah. And you're physically and mentally destroying those kids. Now, I'm going to finish with this, even though I want to get to Shemot.
Just regular
Shema. After Echad. Now, you might ask, why do I care? Right?
Sorry. I heard you're not allowed to talk after you say Shema.
No, that's Hamapil, which we don't say Alpi. We don't say Hamapil. Forget Mapil right now. We're saying Shema right now. Wow, you're becoming more fanatic in 1 second. Listen. Why do I care? Everyone's question. Okay, I did the sin. I'll worry about it when I die. When I die, I'll worry about it. I have all the excuses in the world. I'll tell God, listen, homie. You were not in this world with me. You don't know the test that I had. Or the girls might say. You don't know I never got any attention in my youth, so I needed to wear these kind of provocative clothes for the people outside to give me that attention. The only reason why a girl dresses not tzanua is because they're seeking attention. Don't ever forget this in the day of your life. They will not admit it, but this is a fact. And why is it not true? Because when they're going to get married, why is this true? When they're going to get married, when do they dress good? When they're going out, not when the husband comes home. They want to seek attention from who? Outside. Why? Because unfortunately the husband comes home tired and he doesn't always say, you look so beautiful today. Oh, you don't say, I look beautiful? I'm not going to dress up good for you. Who are they going to dress up good for? People, when they go out to a wedding, when they go Yushvo, why are you putting a ton of makeup? The guy died. What are you doing? No, it's hergel. You want a better marriage for you guys for the future, both men and women? Please your spouse, and even when he doesn't acknowledge you, and I promise you, your life will be like milk and honey. Because at the end of the day, we both want the same thing. What is that? Acknowledgement. The man wants to be acknowledged in the house that he's the man, and the woman in their life wants to be acknowledged that I do everything in the house. Even I work and I bring all the money home. I cook, I clean, I shower the kids, I do the laundry, I shower you sometimes because you smell, and I throw you in, and I do this. And that's a relationship. And who always got to be in between? Hashem is easy to say, but how do we know if Hashem's there? If it's your Rebbe, if it's your Mora, if it's your Mashpia, you can't just say Hashem. It doesn't work this way. I'm going to finish this subject. I'm always saying I'm going to finish, but there was a story in the Gemara. I think it was Rabbi Hanina. He wanted to be with his wife, and he said to himself, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk while I'm having relations with my wife. He said, I don't know. And his wife went to the mikveh that night. It's a story in the Gemara. Just imagine to what extent we have to learn from our teachers. The Torah is so beautiful. He goes and he says, his wife comes home from the mikveh and she says, listen, I saw your Rebbe's wife in the mikveh. That means tonight your Rebbe is going to have relations with his wife. Go under their bed and see how he's with his wife. Learn if he talks with his wife during relations. Now, if it would be any woman nowadays, where's the machete? Cut off the beitzim and then cut off the head. Why? Because we think nowadays it's not their fault, it's our fault. Men are very perverted these days. So what did I think it was Rabbi Hanina, again, don't quote me, I think this rabbi went under his Rebbe's bed and he was listening, and what did he hear? He hears his Rebbe saying a joke to his wife. And suddenly he starts to laugh. And the rabbi goes under, he says, Bratan, shut that guy! You didn't get enough of me in school? What are you doing under my bed? He's like, didn't you say I have to learn Torah from my Rebbe? Even the way I'm with my wife? So the Rebbe answered his question and he said, go. The answer was yes, you could talk in a flirty way to your wife during the time of getting her aroused. That doesn't mean you have to talk shtuyot, which we're not talking about that. You're not in chatan classes now. You're not getting married, unless someone's getting married. If you're not getting married within the next month, this question shouldn't be in your brain, because the only girls that you would be doing shtuyot with are the ones that don't want to hear jokes. They want to hear other things, which we're not going to get into right now. And me and you both know this. Okay? And the girls can testify for it. Whoever is in that level of dirtiness, which we're not going to get into today. Do you understand? To what an extent you have to be towards your Rebbe, towards your person that you can learn from? How many minutes is it?
48.
Close it. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.